Good
Um,
job.
and I'll get started, even though we don't really have, I'm sure we'll have more. Here comes Rob. That's good. We just need two more and we'll have a quorum. The June meeting minutes have not been published. Dave is still finishing them up. So hopefully he'll have those done in the next few days. I'll get them out and we'll approve those and these meeting minutes next month. Um, One thing I can talk about in the new business category, National Night Out is August 4th. Hey, Cyrus,
Evening, everyone.
Hi.
uh, August 4th is National Night Out, and the deadline to register with the city for your neighborhood party is July 28th. And I think Frederic already registered for our neighborhood. Last year, Palisades had 7 National Night Out parties in our Palisades neighborhood, which is awesome. And so I would encourage each board member, if possible, to organize a National Night Out party in their area. Carrie?
Yeah, so today I was walking Scout on the usual route and I realized last year we did yard signs promoting people to register their National Night Out parties. And right now we silenced our yard signs just because after the campaign we felt like we hit the neighborhood really heavy. Um, I was wondering instead of doing that, if we should just send out a reminder to out of MailChimp to everybody that subscribed about the deadline and encourage them to register a party in lieu
Yeah,
of putting up the signs. What do you
I
think,
think that's a good
everybody?
idea. Maybe
Okay.
just a quick, like an e-blast, a quick email.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a little newsletter with that's the only topic, and that will be the only thing that they will see.
Perfect.
Easy to do.
Pictures, maybe include pictures from last year.
Yeah, we actually have like a little gallery on our site that we collected last year and I posted. So I'll use those as kind of see what has been done. But I think that would be better since we're trying not to put
That's
up
a
our
great
signs
idea.
with yeah. So I'm writing it down.
And Elisa, I hope during your report, we can talk a little bit about Four from Your Door and how that might link with National Night Out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've got an exciting update on that. And then Carrie, I was also going to say I'll do a next door post on registering your party too.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
we have a good one up on the site right now you can pull off of.
Excellent.
We did a postcard last year. So oh my gosh, why am I'm so, I feel like I'm still kind of like coming out of the campaign and I'm having a hard time remembering these things. But last year, the Palisades Neighborhood Association sent out one of our 2 postcards reminding people to not only register, but then to check back to find their closest party. Because the city gives us 2 free mailings a year.
Right.
We use one for our general meeting in April. Do we want to do a second or do we want to do one for that's something to talk about. If we want to do one, I can get it together and get it over to the city to see if they can get it out.
Yeah, we could talk about what other uses we might have for that one mailing, but National Night Out
Yeah.
is a great one to get people connected. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like because of the city's deadlines, we may be too late even because they require such a like excessive amount of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll reach out to at least reach out to Iris's replacement and just hear about what they have, like how long it would take them to do it.
Okay. I
Okay.
mean, I think the first attack should be each board member. I mean, we're each set up perfectly to be representatives of our areas. Be great if each board member could organize a party or delegate that to someone in their neighborhood. Hey, David.
Hey,
Hey, we
Nancy. Hi,
have a
David.
We have a quorum. Nancy, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Hi.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Um, two big issues on my chair's report. One, I would like to revisit the topic we discussed in the last month about a candidate forum. We discussed the option of doing a candidate forum just as Palisades and also in collaboration with several other neighborhood associations. And I think at the time the consensus was, it was not unanimous, but the consensus was a majority thought that maybe doing it just as Palisades. I'd like to revisit that because I think that doing it in collaboration with, say, First Edition, Old Town, Evergreen, McVeigh, South Shore, the five of us, that we would have a much,
He's out here. Okay.
we'd have a much stronger case to make sure we get the candidates at the forum and a much stronger chance of getting the public into the forum. And we'd have support from the other neighborhoods in terms of all the details and logistics of organizing and drafting questions and that kind of thing. Carrie.
Yeah, I personally support sharing the load with this event only because I feel like it won't feel as heavy if we have more getting things done and organized, and it won't feel too much if we have more than just Palisades involved. And if there's a cost, we can split it between multiple neighborhood associations. And we should want to fill whatever venue we host it at. So that's just going to help us. They'll all promote it too with their databases. So I would strongly encourage considering doing it with multiple neighborhood associations for sure.
Other thoughts? Hi, John.
Yeah,
You're still
I'm in
muted,
agreement
John.
with Carrie.
So other thoughts on a candidate forum in collaboration with several neighboring neighborhood associations?
Chris?
Hi, Rob.
I was gonna say, I thought the last time we did it, the decision was to do it in collaboration with other neighborhood associations, and it was the minority that thought maybe we should do it uniquely, just a unique Palisades only was a minority.
You might be right, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what I had in my notes. But I went back and looked at the video,
Oh, okay.
and actually there were more votes for doing it alone.
Oh, interesting.
But it was not a majority. I mean, it was not a strong majority either way.
Sure, yeah. Okay. I was just gonna say, I mean, I can appreciate the comments to say, from a logistics perspective, it's easier to kind of combine and share. But my real concern and what to see is, are the other neighborhoods going to override us, and are they going to, kind of mute kind of Palisades concerns? That's my biggest concern. Is like, I think we have a lot of concerns, and we'd like the city councilors to pay a lot of attention to Palisades. And so, are the other neighborhoods going to step all over us, or are we going to be able to get our voice through in that type of forum? That's the only concern.
I think that's a good point. Other thoughts?
Well, I think the question is what issues are unique to Palisades that other areas don't have? I mean, everyone has issues with parking. Everyone has issues with traffic. I can't think of an issue that only people in Palisades are having to deal with.
Lake Ridge.
Well, but then I was reading like the Old Town Neighborhood Association and their whole issues with George Rogers Park.
Yeah,
I mean,
park.
And so it's kind of like everyone has their pain point when it comes to parking and traffic. Ours happens to be Lake Ridge. Theirs happens to be George Rogers Park. Other people have their own pain points, and how do we deal? I'd rather see a more cohesive way that the city addresses these issues on a holistic rather than just dealing with one neighborhood at a time.
Right. Well, I think that's maybe part of the benefit of doing it in collaboration because we share the parking and traffic and safety issues with Old Town, certainly. And I would suspect to some extent in first edition. And so I think in that sense, it's good that we're doing it together. I think it'll bring even greater pressure and importance to those issues
Maybe
with the
Chris,
candidates.
I don't want to be a critic, but my understanding of Old Town is that they're concerned about events and the use of George Rogers for the art festival or for other public events. Do we have big event concerns? I mean, certainly there's a high school, but it's a little bit different. I think they're going to focus on that too. It's just kind of how the parks are used. And I thought when we talked with the city manager pro tem, Lynn Peterson, she gave some inputs like that and was kind of like indicating like Old Town was unique. I mean, I'm okay if we're doing it, but let's see. I think how much time will we get? I mean, are the concerns that the other neighborhoods raise, are they really going to be the same concerns we have? I don't know. We'll see.
I do think that
Yeah, go ahead.
I do think there's a way though, Rob, that every neighborhood association could have their own unique like number of questions and they're presented by the chairs.
That may be, if we agreed to that type of forum, then that may be helpful. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like every chair can come up with their slate of questions. Of course, everybody can answer. And of course we're going to overlap and we can reference like, well, traffic is we can reference the commonalities, but I do feel like if we're a neighborhood association and we're representing our constituents, there has to be a unique time for us to speak about the, Palisades. So I do agree with that. And I'll make sure no one walks all over anybody. I'm an East Coaster. That's what I do. But no, I think every neighborhood association can have some unique questions to their own area. And then maybe there's overlapping and like, more general Lake Oswego.
Yeah, I think
issues.
That's a good idea. That'll bring some fairness to it and make sure that, P&A, the things that are most important to us get out. And maybe that's what we do as a neighborhood association too, is like, we kind of prioritize what are our top ask or whatever and make sure that in our unique section, we get those out. It's what the neighborhood wants to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Other comments, thoughts? We ready to vote? So I'll make a motion. I move that Palisades approach first edition, Evergreen, Old Town, McVeigh, South Shore, and discuss putting a joint candidate forum together, and that we'll probably form some kind of committee to help draft the questions and go set up all the logistics.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Question, Chair, discussion on the motion.
Yeah.
I'd like to amend the motion to take in what was Carrie's suggestion, that we do this with the understanding that we ask for some specific, dedicated time for like Palisades.
But every neighborhood association,
yeah.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I was late and I have no idea what y'all are talking about. So what's the question?
The issue is last month we talked about having a candidate forum, and should it be just P&A for city council candidates?
Yeah, for city council. Okay, I understand.
Right. Sorry. And so the idea was, whether do we do it just as P&A or do we do it in collaboration with adjoining neighborhood associations?
Oh, got it. Okay.
And
thanks.
so we've been rethinking, maybe doing it in collaboration is going to be a better approach. And so that's the motion that's now on the floor.
I understand now. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Chris, just 1 second discussion on the motion again. Are we incorporating Carrie's suggestion?
What's that?
Are we incorporating Carrie's suggestion where she said that we'd suggest that each neighborhood would have the opportunity to provide, kind of a unique set of questions or time for
absolutely.
that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna set it up and then just sit back and let somebody else run it. We're gonna make
Yeah,
sure
I think just being explicit that each neighborhood should have an opportunity to address concerns particular to that neighborhood.
yeah, perfect. I agree.
Okay.
Do you want to amend your motion for it?
Yeah, maybe I should simplify it. So I move that Palisades approach the adjoining neighborhood associations, First Edition, Old Town, Evergreen, and McVeigh South Shore, and discuss hosting a candidate forum, and with the understanding that each neighborhood would be equally represented and have the chance to provide input on questions on issues that are important to their neighborhood. Okay, any more discussion? Carrie?
No,
Yeah.
I was
Okay,
gonna either
all in
call for
favor?
a voter.
Okay, unanimous. Great. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. So Carrie and I will put our heads together and figure out who's going to call who. Got an NCC meeting coming up a week from this Saturday. I can bring it up there with some of them, or we just pick up the phone and call. I had a good call with Dareth today. Next big item on my list is I think it would be good for P&A to narrow our focus this year. Remember when I started rather when my chairship started a year ago, April, my goals were the fire station bond, fill empty slots on the board, and what was the third? Increase our political capital within the city and recognition by city council. And I think we've done pretty good on all those. We still have one board position open in Area 13, but I think the other two we've been very successful. This year, I'd like to throw out the idea, and we could continue the discussion, but it seems to me from the comments that we get and questions, and the young man that was hit on Green Tree at Carter Place, and the accident just prior to that at Overlook and Stafford, and the ongoing speeding problem that John has experienced on South Shore, and the parking problem that Meg and her neighbors have from Lake Ridge students. Seems to me that safety, and then under that, speeding and parking should be our focus this year. And so I'll open up the discussion. What do you guys think?
Chris, just so you know, your hand is up digitally.
Oh yeah.
I would put traffic in those topics. So I know traffic safety and parking, are those the things that we're talking about? Yeah, okay. Well, if we decide to go that route and kind of declare those topics, we can simplify the amount of writing that we do every month for our newsletter. We can I would think that everything would start reflecting that in how the website and the newsletter would work, right?
That would be a nice byproduct.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't like to be that our only focus, simply because I think people start to tune out when it's the only thing they hear us say. So talk about events, talking about things that are going on in the neighborhood, talking about, but the safety is probably number one, but not forget that there's other things going on in the world.
Yeah, I think,
or in our world.
sorry, you go, Elisa.
Yeah, good point. Excellent point, Meg.
Yeah, to just add to what Meg said, I would also put connection in that we are supporting connection between neighbors, because I think that connection helps give us the political oomph that we need. It's also important to safety as well.
Good.
Yeah, the thing I want to add is I find that when people engage P&A for the first time, maybe they read the newsletters, but they don't really engage. It's when they have a real concern, like what happened with the little boy crossing the street and so on. That's when they say, oh, I'm upset. Where do I take this? Right. But I don't know that we're getting the word out about what those issues are. In other words, when there's an incident, do we put that in our newsletter and say, hey, everybody, did you know this happened? And, how should we resolve it? P&A will get involved, or whatever the message is attached to that, like P&A is evaluating how we might get involved. But I'm not sure they know about those things.
Yeah,
So
good point.
mostly what we say is, here's what's going on, with 4th of July, or you know what I mean, positive events. But when there's issues, we don't really talk about it.
We do, but I'll wait. Rob is next.
Okay.
Rob, you're
Rob?
next.
Yeah, okay, thanks. I was just going to say, Chris, that the neighborhood associations were recognized and created by the city for land use, and so I just think focusing on traffic is just too narrow. It has to include some form of land use, and I see neighbors being really concerned about that, whether it's potentially the LDS kind of church changing the Azalea Fields, or if it's other developments, Rasik and things like that are occurring. So my kind of input would be it has to include some focus on land use.
Well, I
Yeah,
think,
just to go ahead.
well, like Meg said, I think we need to keep talking about other issues that are going on in Palisades. We can't just be a one note drum. And I think Hazalea is going to start heating up. So I think that's right.
Yeah, I
Carrie?
just wanted to respond. We did write articles about Aiden without identifying him of that incident on Green Tree, and we did call out, like, as a neighborhood we have to be more responsible as drivers, and then we posted Rob's traffic analysis. So the one thing that we didn't write a post about when there's issues was the golf ball thing, because we felt like we needed them to give them time to figure it out, and that was like an internal issue with Lorac, and they responded eventually because of Nancy and Chris following up. But we do write about issues in the neighborhood on a regular basis.
Okay.
Just so you know. Yeah. And traffic is the number one click, like people click our traffic posts and read them entirety. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I would like to know what we're doing to get the state involved with these issues, because the city does not seem to be capable of dealing with it. So what can we do to get the state involved?
Yeah, John. I was going to add, so I called the city manager's office this afternoon, and I tried to get in touch with Lynn Peterson. She's actually on vacation. She said she'll be back next week. And I had kind of the same comments. I wanted to see because the last meeting we had, there was an action that was taken. Lynn told us, hey, hold off. I'm not sure what the state involvement is going to be on some of these issues we're bringing up with P&A. And she said she'd like to check and she'd get back to us. But we haven't heard back, and she's on vacation. I'm thinking next week we should. But specifically, I agree. Try to get better understandings of, how does some of our neighborhood issues kind of depend on the state doing something. And the things like what you were raising on South Shore Drive, if that's the case, which we thought it was, then yeah, we want to get the state involved in that. So the next step on that is, as soon as Lynn gets back from vacation, we'll follow up. But I agree with what you're saying.
Okay. I think let's move on. I think if I'm reading the consensus, is that that's a good direction for us to go this year. That's it for my report. Carrie?
I just have one thing to report on, and then I'll share the full report with the group. But I was poking around the Lake Oswego School District minutes for past meetings, and on June 22nd, they heard from Apex companies, which they hire to identify, test around the towers, because of the Adams complaints about high levels, potential high levels around their house at Overlook and Stafford, and they did a full analysis and found no high readings on or off. They tested all of it on, all of it off. They did find that the Adams family had a Ring security monitor camera that was the only thing they found giving off high readings. Now, it's like power density, magnetic field strength, and electric field strength. So I will send this out. It's a dense report, but in conclusion, every measurement at the resident across the board study came in well below what's acceptable nationally and internationally. So that case should be settled, or the topic anyway should be settled. So I'll send that out to everybody to look at. And that was really my only update from a vice chair point of view.
I think that report is interesting. I'll be curious if the Adams are going to pursue their lawsuit, or if they're still pursuing it, or what their next action is going to be. But I think what the results of that test confirm that P&A took the right approach in backing off and not making this our major battle with the city and the school district, letting the Adams pursue it, which they were more than eager to do.
Yeah, and the school district, they did do, I mean, this is a really comprehensive study they did around multiple schools. So they did their work too, showing there weren't safety concerns. So
okay. Treasurer's report. Our new treasurer, Cyrus.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So we have transferred the P&A accounts to On Point Credit Union, and we received reimbursement requests from Carrie Love, which she has received that reimbursement from the city.
Good. Committee reports. Jenny's out. You have anything on LOSD that needs reporting? I think Carrie kind of touched on that a little bit with that cell tower report. David, Emergency Prep Committee.
Hi, good evening. I think the most important thing that I'd like to remind everyone of this evening is related to National Night Out coming up next month. I'm not sure if we have time set aside to talk about that, but there's information on the City of Lake Oswego's website. The date is August 4th, and it'll be that evening. If you register before the end of this month, I think it's July 28th, with the City of Lake Oswego, they'll essentially, guarantee that someone from fire or police will stop by. This is also an opportunity and important from a community engagement standpoint, because we're going to be also receiving flyers related to Four From Your Door, which is a initiative that we're trying to do to help enhance local connectedness between neighbors. So getting to know four neighbors next to you is something that Elisa can probably talk more on as well. But they'll be handing out these door hangers or cards when police and fire are stopping by at the National Night Out event. So please give consideration to signing up and hosting a National Night Out. I did it last year. It's not a big deal. Hot dogs, some drinks, and people start showing up because, hey, people are hanging out and having a good time. And so also by registering with the city, I believe that that will indemnify the address as well from any associated liability with that event. So remember August 4th, a great opportunity to get to know your neighbors, because in times of emergency, being able to rely on your neighbor is really about the best, way to both, be prepared in the initial phases and aftermath after an event, and also just having that connectedness that comes from knowing each other close to you.
Great. I agree. And then let me reiterate, I'd like to challenge each board member to either organize a National Night Out in their neighborhood or make sure that there is one going on in their neighborhood organized by one of their neighbors. That would be awesome. Let's see. Parks, Nancy.
Hey, I heard from Kira at the city, and she said there's just as a reminder to everyone, there's an application we are working on to submit to the county to codify our uses of Lesher Farm, our current uses of Lesher Farm. It also includes potentially a new driveway entrance. There's concern that the current driveway is not set up safely. And so the next event with the county is August 6th. They will review the application before it's submitted just to make sure there's no gotchas in it, that they can kind of get it pre-approved before they submit it. But the other thing, Kira wants to engage us, the P&A board, and also the Stafford Hamlet to have a discussion around their thoughts for the new driveway, where they want to put it. And I'll read exactly. They're concerned about the roundabout. We're currently exploring an alternative driveway option to provide public access to Lesher without impacting the Stafford, Rosemont, Atherton roundabout, which is the most problematic part of our whole application. I would love to chat with P&A, blah, blah, blah. She's out of town on vacation, so she'll be back in about a week. And that's when we can find a date to have that discussion. So I can set that up, but I wanted to make you aware of her question.
Would August 13th board meeting be too late?
I can suggest that. I can start there and see if it works.
She could be our guest speaker, and then she'll have the most likely access to the whole board.
Sure.
Great.
And that's it for Parks. Parks is kind of quiet these days.
Traffic, Rob, anything else?
Something kind of with traffic, parking, and LOST. I noticed, I don't know if anybody else has it, the rec center, when Lynn was here, I was mentioning some of the EV charger issues they're having there. And now every single charger has got the charge cords removed. I don't know if they were vandalized or
They were stolen. They were clipped.
Stolen. That's
They
unbelievable.
were clipped
Yeah.
as well, I think downtown. Or no,
Oh,
New
wow.
Seasons. It came through and
Yeah.
hit multiple locations.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. So that's too bad. And then I was going to say, I did the roads closed, as we know, in Stafford. So I kind of just went down there over the weekend to see what type of progress they're making. And I was just going to know, it looks like they made some pretty good progress, like the curbs and the forms and stuff. The asphalt's not in the road, but they had made a lot of progress. The poles and stuff are up. So I think the official completion date is still late fall. But to me, it looks like they're making good progress. One word of warning about that, and some of my other neighbors have been raising this concern, a little bit unrelated. There seems to be a huge skunk population in the neighborhood. And when we went down Stafford like that, there was the biggest skunk I've ever seen. And he raised his tail like a peacock, and he was doing charging, like fake charges or whatever. So if anybody's walking in that area, you might want to be clear. Some of my other neighbors in Bellaterra were also raising concerns that they've seen a lot of skunks in the area, but that's my report.
Land use for Meg.
It's actually been kind of quiet. There was one pre-application meeting for it was actually a land division that was approved several years ago, but the approval expired, so they have to start over with the process. So it's just kind of interesting to sit through that, and as a homeowner tries to get all of their ducks in a row. But other than that, it's been pretty quiet.
You want to give an update on Ken's Azalea Living?
Just what you told me is the fact that they're starting deconstruction of the church, and they're still working with the city engineering. I'm not sure what the issues are, but there's always issues.
Yeah, it should be good to see progress down there.
I was wondering if the cottages that are not selling down in First Edition, had any impact on his project. I think
That's
last
a
I heard they were going to
that's
go
a
up for
really good
auction.
that's a really good question. You could send an email to Ken and ask that question.
Okay.
I'm sure everyone's been watching that. To my knowledge, I don't think any of those units have sold. Does anyone know otherwise?
I
These
had
are
heard
the
I had heard some had gone into pending, but my guess is when they weren't selling, the ones that were in pending lost their financing.
I think what I saw too, Chris, was that they were changing their strategy. Somebody had lumped like 6 or 7 of them or more together, and they were going to try to like just try to offer them as a group all together, maybe for another developer or something like that, or some other investor to try to sell. So I noticed that a couple of days ago that it seemed like there was an offer to try to sell like 6 or more of them as a group.
Interesting.
Turn them into rentals.
Well, I think Ken's project is very, very different than the cottages in first edition. So I'm hoping, Meg, that it's not going to have an impact. I know they were talking about launching those at 900,000, and they're listing them now at 600, 650, 695, and I'm not sure they're worth that. In my opinion. Okay, Elisa, Community Health and Resiliency Advisory Board and social media.
Yeah, so I'll start out with the Community Health and Resiliency Board. And by the way, our acronym CRAB, we've decided rather than snicker about it, we're going to embrace it. Anyway, that acronym is kind of a humorous. We, as David Westerdahl said, we are extremely excited. Our Four From Your Door project, which encourages connection, was embraced by the city, and police and fire departments are going to be handing out the Four From Your Door door hangers on the neighborhood night out. So we're super proud that we've got that support from the city, and they're going to get us off to a great start on that. And then also in August, on August 13th, David Westerdahl is leading our project to be represented as an advisory board at the Chamber of Commerce Health Fair, which will be in Millennium Park in the evening. And we are going to be collecting community input on what people would like us to prioritize. We're a new board, and so we want to get that input from the community. In addition, we will be talking about Four From Your Door at that event. We are also planning to have a presence at the September 4 emergency fair that the city holds. So lots going on there. Social media, our highest traffic item was the update on Stafford Road. I will do a post on the pedestrian bridge on South Shore because that could get interest, but traffic has remained one of our highest interest posts, as well as Nancy's history stories. We've done well with those as well. So I want to acknowledge that we are not moving the needle on Nextdoor, and we've tapped out at only 37 followers. But I also just want to say that the Nextdoor algorithms are against us. So I see this in my job for the Department of Human Services as well. We have a huge following, and we will do a post and it won't show up on a feed for like 3 weeks. So this is a Nextdoor algorithm issue. I'm not going to bore all of you with it, but I want us to think about that. Do we need to have, potentially a different channel going forward? And then I know Carrie, you, me, and Chris are going to meet and talk about some other things. But I do want to just say that algorithms working against us. I also don't know that everybody here is on Nextdoor, but if you are a Nextdoor, please follow us and please share the link for the channel in your emails, and help us get word out. That's really the only way we're going to get an audience. And I think that this is really important for Chris's goal on showing our political power. The more followers we have, the stronger we are on Nextdoor. the more we'll get listened to. So anyway, that's my pitch. Sorry,
Carrie?
Corey, I just noticed you had your hand up.
And that's okay. I did a post regarding Rob's presentation from last month's meeting in June regarding traffic and the results from the data that was collected at Carter Place in Green Tree. And that might be a really interesting one to put out there to see.
I will, yeah, and I'll do that one. And I also want to note, Carrie, that the other post that got traction was the survey results.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elisa, where did the four next door idea come from?
A Palisades neighbor. So a gentleman on our board, he his wife was experiencing Alzheimer's disease. She's now passed away, and he was just noting how isolated he felt, especially in caring for her. And he used that experience to inspire the idea. Our board then took it to the summit. So the city in January has a summit with all the boards pitching their ideas, and we got selected as the top idea with Four from Your Door, and that's how we've garnered all this city support for the idea. But once again, go Team Palisades.
Awesome. And you chair that advisory board.
I'm sorry?
You chair that advisory board.
Yes.
Oh, do you know where that Palisades neighbor lives? Where in Palisades is he?
He's in the Sun. Oh my goodness! Now I'm blanking out. What is it? Sun. What's the neighborhood that starts with the Sun?
Sunny Hill. Sunny Hill.
Sunny Hill. He lives in Sunny Hill.
Okay. Good. Before we get to public comment, I wanted to add, David, if you would keep an eye out for National Night Out parties in Area 13. If you see of one or hear one or see posters around or something, let us know. That might be a good recruiting opportunity.
And Chris, are you considering hosting in 3, or are you going to give that up this year?
Frederique's already registered for our area.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, she already.
Some of the party skills. Okay.
Yeah,
so
and I assume
I would do it if it's asked, but I'm no good at that stuff.
I assume it'll be at the same place in in front of us. That's it. That's a good location, I think.
Will we have signage for National Night Out at all, Chris? Or
we talked about that, I think, before you get on,
okay.
because our yard signs are silent right now. We're going to do a blast to our 1,000 subscribers only about registering for National Night Out and referencing the city to find the locations. What are your thoughts? Do you think we need the yard signs?
I was going to say maybe put a few in Area 13 and see if we can get some people to sign up.
Well, we can always do that. We can printing up those inserts are cheap and easy, right? We could print up a few of those and I could give you a few signs. Yeah, that's a good idea. We should
think about where to put it.
We should have a couple signs for each area that's doing a National Night Out.
Like
that's a good idea.
At the location of where the party's going to be, like in the area.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, we can think about the graphic on that.
Okay. Well, unless there are other comments, that concludes our formal part of the board meeting. I'd like to open it up for public discussion and welcome Patrick Walsh. Patrick is a candidate for city council, asked if he could join us, which he's certainly welcome to join us. And so Patrick, the floor is yours.
Hey folks, Chris, thanks so much for having me and thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Also, I just want to say, very impressed with your all's neighborhood association. This is, I've been emailing a lot of folks to attend different meetings. This is by far the most orderly, and I just want to say, and most cohesive. And I'm very impressed with your communication with one another and how tight you are. So,
Thank
but
you.
my name is Patrick Walsh. Like Chris was saying, I'm a candidate for city council. I filled out all of my paperwork. I'm currently the chair of the library board. I've been on the library board for 4 years. This is my second year as chair. I've also been on the school bond committee, and I'm a longtime executive director of nonprofits in the Portland area. My platform for city council is threefold and pretty easy, I think, to remember. One is keep Lake Oswego green so that our tree canopy stays the way that it is, though I think the tree code could be amended. I also think that our watersheds and our parks are reasons that people come to live here, and those need to be sustained. The second is keep Lake Oswego safe, so giving our first responders the resources that they need. I also agree with you all about traffic. I am the father of a 4-year-old, and that is a big deal. And I can tell you that people speed in my neighborhood in Bryant all the time, and it's something I am incredibly concerned about. And the third thing is just keep Lake Oswego physically responsible and fiscally transparent. As I said, I'm the executive director of nonprofits, so I've dealt with budgets anywhere from 100,000 to 75 million, and I'm used to keeping my eye on the bottom line. I'm gonna put, Chris said it was okay. These are links to my website and my Instagram. My website has all of my priorities on there. Please take a look. There's also a contact form on there. I am happy to have coffee with anybody who wants to talk. I'm also happy to come back. Chris, if it's all right, I do have availability on the August 13th, so I'd like to come back to your next board meeting if that's all right.
Sure.
Yeah. I know I only have 2 minutes, so thank you all for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for letting me be here. I hope I hear from some of you because I would love to buy you a cup of coffee as well. So take care. Have a great night.
Thanks, Patrick. Patrick and I are having coffee in a couple of weeks. So if anyone, 2 weeks exactly, the 23rd. So if anyone wants to pass on a question or comment through me, that'd be fine too. Nancy, you want to add anything? Your article on the power station was great.
Oh, I owe Carrie an apology because I really flubbed up this last time.
It's fine. It's fine. And you know what's funny is like I had internet for like a window and you emailed it to me and then because it was the holiday, right? So like we were both kind of outside of email. So, but I did make sure you click through to everything that you've offered in the past. So we know that's written. We've just got to figure out what happened with the file.
I think part of it was operator error.
Could have been me too.
I grabbed the wrong file and sent it to you. That's why it was locked. So we'll just run that article for August.
Yeah, just resend it. Okay, perfect.
Okay, anything else? John.
Just for curiosity's sake, some of us are not going to be on the board forever and need to recruit neighbors and such to replace us for area reps. So what are the procedures or instructions that we should use to get our neighbors in support of PNA?
Good question. Good question. I think National Night Out is a good opportunity. Start now. Start now. You do a good job in walking the neighborhood.
Well, I know, but I still need to talk to people. You know,
Carrie?
Yeah. So, John, good question. When we talked about this a little while ago, and I think it just, I'm not sure it like turned into a meeting conversation, but we can go into MailChimp and select everybody in your area 1, and then we can go and see who has clicked through our information many times or has read our information the most. And that would give us like a list of potential interest.
Yeah.
And then we can once we kind of figure out what that level is, we can blast those people, like the area 1 saying, hey, we are looking for other neighbors to get involved with PNA. So there's definitely some tactics we can use.
Yeah, because I've talked to some of my neighbors and they're like, no, I'm not interested. But there's other people outside of my next door neighbors that might be. So I'm not sure how to pursue that.
Yeah, but I'm happy to start pulling Area 1 and just we can maybe use you as kind of the beta on this, like see if we got good response or what we learned from it for other areas.
So now I'm a target. So now I'm a target.
No, now you're going to become my best friend and answer all my questions.
I always thought I was your best friend. What do you mean?
Of course.
Elisa?
I wanted to say I've mentioned it to some people as well, and their question to me is they're like when I explain to them what we do, they're still kind of think of it like a homeowners association, and I try to explain that that's not it at all. It's a city thing, and in fact, a gateway to get involved. I never would be chair of the Community Health and Resiliency Board had I not been on this board. And so I think we maybe need to get some talking points that really that we think might stick with people to make it more compelling. People are just becoming less civically involved overall. And so I think appealing to people's self-interest in having a voice and having an ability to have influence, I think might appeal to some people.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten on the budget committee if I wasn't on Palisades Neighborhood Association. Good point.
Okay. Anything else? Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thanks, Patrick, for joining us, and Nancy. And we'll see you all next month, if not sooner.
Thanks for having me, folks.
Good night.
Take care.
Night.
Great.
Good night.
Thank you.